It's a pretty well kept secret, but there's more than mermaids that swim in the Weeki Wachee River. Recently I was able to visit the area and take in the great fishing, see some manatees, and last but not least, couldn't leave out the mermaids. The Weeki Wachee River is located on the west coast of Florida, about an hour north of Tampa and about 2 hours from Orlando. The Weeki Wachee River starts at its namesake spring just off of Highway 19 and meanders through wilderness and residential areas for about 7 miles until it reaches the marshes and then the Gulf of Mexico. There are 2 options to launch your boat. The first is Rogers Park, which is right on the Weeki Wachee River. The second is Bayport, which is located about a mile out to the Gulf from the mouth of the Weeki Wachee. I launched from Bayport due to the Rogers ramp being closed for renovations. Even though it was a very windy day, the protection provided by the marsh barrier islands made it an easy run back to the mouth of the Weeki Wachee. Right at the mouth of the Weeki Wachee River, I encountered my first manatees. It's hard to believe that early explorers of Florida mistook these gentle giants for beautiful mermaids. The beauty of the area was on full display today. If you're unfamiliar with this area, a good GPS will help out a lot. There are plenty of canals to navigate and shallow water to deal with as you work your way upstream. Water levels will vary with the time of year, but you can pretty much count on that in some spots you're only going to run into about a foot of water. If your boat won't handle waters this shallow, no worries. There are plenty of outfitters that can supply canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. This spot is called Hospital Hole. This spring is around 100 foot deep and is known for its high sulfur content, and that is the reason why, according to local stories, is that manatees, when they're injured, will come here to heal. These mangrove snapper are fun to catch and eat, but you have to be careful handling them because of their sharp spines and teeth. I was planning on going snorkeling later on, but I was a little bit concerned about getting eaten by the millions of mangrove snapper that were in this water. Jacks were also in abundance here at this fishing spot, and if you look closely in this video, you can actually see the hook jack being followed by its friend. Pound for pound, nothing fights better than a jack, and they're a whole lot of fun to catch. Just about every fish that swims in fresh or salt water can be caught in the Weeki Wachee River. While watching the mermaid show, I even saw a snook chasing after brim. The whole time I was fishing, I had a manatee watching me. So I put on my snorkeling gear and decided to join him for a swim. It had been a long, fun, and productive day, and it was time to head back to camp. On this trip, I stayed at Mary's Fish Camp, which is located about a mile from the Bayport boat ramp. Mary's will give you a nostalgic feel of old Florida with some very nice facilities, including a dock and a tackle store, along with shaded campsites under massive oak trees. The next morning I launched out of Bayport once again and headed towards the Gulf and the Barrier Islands. I saw some fish striking on the surface near an island, and I got out of the boat to do some wade fishing to be a little bit more stealthy. Unfortunately, a dolphin came in from the side and blew up all the fish, and then also the bottom started getting very mucky and I had to abandon my pursuit so I didn't lose my shoes. So it was time to get back into the boat and move on to the next spot, which was in a large cove just to the north. Here I met up with Jack, a friendly and knowledgeable local I had met at the ramp this morning. He had told me that he was having great luck catching redfish by using cut-up ladyfish fished on the bottom. In this area I had great luck with my go-to 4-inch long white plastic body fished on a 1/4 ounce chartreuse jig head. During the morning, this jig produced fish like this redfish that I'm fighting now, along with trout and ladyfish. It was a real treat fishing in water this clear. During the morning I caught lots of trout like this one by fishing near the Barrier Islands and also by drifting over the grass flats in the Gulf. It was time to head back to the ramp, but I will be back to this area soon, especially when the cool weather hits and the large trout start entering in the creeks. If you have an interest in finding out about additional things to do in this area, especially with families, please watch the travel tips section of this video, which will be immediately following. And thanks again for watching. Don't miss Weeki Wachee State Park. There's a lot more to Weeki Wachee than just the Mermaid show, and with adult admission at $13, children 6 to 12 $8, and under 5 free, it's a great value for the whole family. Included with your admission is a boat tour of the Weeki Wachee River, an animal show, wildlife exhibits, and a water park with slides that's open during season. And for an additional fee, you can rent kayaks and canoes to have your own river adventure. Thanks again for watching, and if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel so you can join me on my next adventure.